I see you. Right now, in this very moment, I see the exhaustion in your eyes. I see the weight you're carrying on your shoulders. I see how hard you've been trying, how much effort you've been putting in, how many times you've gotten back up after being knocked down. And I see something else too. I see the doubt that's creeping in. I see the voice in your head that keeps whispering, maybe it's not meant to be. Maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe I should just give up and settle for less. I see you looking around at other people who seem to have it all figured out, who seem to be succeeding effortlessly while you're still struggling, still fighting, still waiting for your breakthrough. And I know what you're thinking because I've been there. You're thinking, I should have succeeded by now. I should be further along. I should have more to show for all this effort. What's wrong with me? But before you let that doubt consume you, before you make a decision you'll regret, before you give up on the dream that's been burning inside you, I need you to stay with me. I need you to hear this story because it's going to change everything for you. And I'm going to ask something important from you. Let's make a commitment together. Let's get 100 comments on this video from people who are refusing to give up, who are choosing to believe that their breakthrough is coming, who are declaring to the universe that they're still in the game. Your comment won't just be words on a screen. It will be your declaration of faith, your commitment to keep going, your message to the universe that you're ready to receive what's been prepared for you. And please subscribe to this channel and watch until the very end because the platform remembers those who stay, who engage, who commit. You'll be first in line for the content that could change your trajectory. The universe is paying attention to your commitment right now, and all it asks is that you leave a motivational comment on this video as a sign that you're ready to receive your blessings. Those who watch until the end are remembered faster on this platform and get ahead. We need to hit this goal to continue bringing you more inspiring stories like this one. So let's do this together. Now, let me tell you about Marcus. Marcus was 37 years old when he hit rock bottom. Not the kind of rock bottom you see in movies, with dramatic crashes and obvious failures. His was the quiet kind, the kind that happens when you've been grinding for years and have nothing to show for it. The kind that happens when you look at your life and realize that, despite doing everything right, everything society told you to do, you're nowhere near where you thought you'd be by now. Marcus had started his business 9 years earlier with so much hope, so much fire, so much certainty that he was going to make it big. He'd left a comfortable corporate job with benefits and a steady paycheck because he believed in his vision. He believed he had something valuable to offer the world. He believed that if he just worked hard enough, stayed consistent enough, remained dedicated enough, success would come. And he did work hard. God, did he work hard. 16-hour days were normal for Marcus. He sacrificed time with his family, friendships, hobbies, sleep, health, everything, and poured it all into his business. He learned everything he could about his industry. He networked relentlessly. He refined his product over and over. He marketed himself everywhere. He showed up every single day, even when he didn't feel like it. Even when he was exhausted, even when nothing seemed to be working. And for 9 years, Marcus stayed afloat, but just barely. He made enough to survive, but never enough to thrive. He'd have moments where it seemed like things were taking off, where a big client would come through or sales would spike, and he'd think, this is it, this is finally my breakthrough. But then things would plateau again, or the client would leave, or the momentum would disappear and he'd be right back where he started, grinding, hustling, hoping. By year 9, Marcus was tired. Not just physically tired, though he was definitely that. He was soul tired, spirit tired, the kind of tired that sleep doesn't fix. He'd wake up every morning and have to talk himself into keeping going. He'd look at his bank account and feel his stomach drop. He'd see his old colleagues from his corporate days posting on social media about their promotions, their new houses, their fancy vacations, and he'd feel this crushing sense of failure. He'd attend family gatherings and endure the well-meaning but painful questions. How's the business going? Are you making good money yet? Maybe it's time to get a real job? And the worst part was the doubt. The constant, gnawing, relentless doubt that maybe everyone was right. Maybe he'd made a huge mistake. Maybe he wasn't cut out for this. Maybe he should have stayed in his corporate job. Maybe he'd wasted 9 years of his life chasing a dream that was never going to materialize. On the morning of his 37th birthday, Marcus sat in his tiny apartment, looking at the pile of bills on his table, and he cried. Not gentle tears, but the kind of crying that comes from somewhere deep inside, the kind that shakes your whole body. He was so tired of trying, so tired of failing, so tired of being broke and stressed and anxious all the time, so tired of feeling like a disappointment to everyone, including himself. He thought about giving up, actually thought about it seriously for the first time. He could probably get his old corporate job back or something similar. He could have stability again, a regular paycheck, benefits, weekends off. He could stop this constant struggle, this endless hustle that seemed to lead nowhere. Maybe that was the smart thing to do. Maybe that was the mature, responsible thing to do. Maybe holding on to this dream was just stubbornness at this point, not courage. But then something happened. Marcus pulled out an old journal, one he'd kept during his first year in business. He started reading his entries from 9 years ago, and he saw himself. He saw his passion, his vision, his absolute certainty that he was meant to do this work. He saw the problems he wanted to solve, the people he wanted to help, the impact he wanted to make. And he realized something profound. Nothing about his why had changed. He still believed in what he was doing. He still cared about the work. He still knew, somewhere deep inside, that he was meant to do this. The only thing that had changed was his faith. He'd lost faith in the timing. He'd lost faith in himself. He'd lost faith that success was still possible for him. Marcus closed the journal and made a decision. He decided to give it one more year, just one. Not because he had some logical reason to believe things would change, but because he couldn't live with himself if he gave up without giving it absolutely everything he had. He decided that for this 1 year, he was going to operate as if success was inevitable. He was going to show up as the version of himself who had already made it. He was going to take action from faith, not fear. He was going to stop obsessing over the timeline and start trusting the process. And most importantly, he was going to stop measuring his success by his bank account and start measuring it by his daily actions and his commitment to his vision. The first few months were brutal because nothing changed externally. Marcus was still broke. He was still struggling. He was still dealing with all the same challenges. But something had shifted internally. He stopped waking up with that heavy dread. He stopped comparing himself to others. He stopped questioning whether he'd made the right decision. He just focused on the work, on serving his clients well, on improving his craft, on showing up with excellence every single day regardless of the results. And then, in month 4 of his 1 more year commitment, something happened. It wasn't dramatic. It wasn't a lottery win or a viral moment. It was a referral from a client who'd been with him for years. That referral led to a meeting with a company that ended up becoming his biggest client. That client then referred him to 3 more companies. Within 6 months, Marcus's income had tripled. Within a year, it had increased by a factor of 10. But here's what's important. The success didn't come because Marcus learned some new strategy or discovered some secret technique. It came because he finally stopped being desperate. He stopped radiating, "Please choose me, I need this energy," and started radiating, "I'm excellent at what I do, and I'm here to serve" energy. He stopped chasing and started attracting. He stopped trying to force outcomes and started trusting the timing. And the universe responded to that shift. People could feel the difference in him. Clients could sense that he was no longer coming from lack, but from abundance. Opportunities started flowing because he'd finally gotten out of his own way. 2 years after that breakdown on his 37th birthday, Marcus's business was thriving. He'd hired a small team. He was making more money than he'd ever made in his corporate job. He was traveling, spending time with his family, sleeping well, feeling peaceful. And the crazy thing was that looking back, he could see that all those years of struggle hadn't been wasted. They'd been necessary. Every failure had taught him something crucial. Every setback had made him stronger. Every moment of doubt had forced him to get clearer on his why. Every person who told him to give up had made his eventual success that much sweeter. The timing that had frustrated him so much had actually been perfect, because he hadn't been ready for success earlier. He'd needed those 9 years to develop the skills, the character, the resilience, the wisdom that would allow him to handle and sustain the success when it came. And that's what I need you to understand about your own journey right now. You feel like you should have succeeded by now. But what if you're exactly where you need to be? What if this delay is actually protection? What if the universe is using this time to prepare you for the level of success that's coming? What if you're not behind at all but perfectly on time? I know that's hard to believe when you're in the thick of it, when you're struggling, when you're exhausted, when you're watching everyone else succeed while you're still waiting. But what if I told you that some of the most successful people in the world didn't hit their stride until their 40s, 50s, or even later? What if I told you that the timing of your success has nothing to do with your worth or your abilities? Let me give you some examples that might shift your perspective. Vera Wang didn't enter the fashion industry until she was 40 years old. Before that, she was a figure skater and then a journalist. Now she's one of the most recognized names in fashion. Ray Kroc was 52 when he bought McDonald's and turned it into the global empire it is today. Before that, he was a struggling milkshake machine salesman. Colonel Sanders was 62 when he franchised Kentucky Fried Chicken. He'd failed at multiple businesses before that. Julia Child didn't publish her first cookbook until she was 50. Samuel Jackson didn't become a widely recognized actor until he was in his 40s. Alan Rickman didn't land his first movie role until he was 46. These aren't exceptions. They're examples of a truth that our culture tries to hide from us. Success has no timeline. There is no age by which you must achieve certain things. There is no deadline for your dreams except the one you impose on yourself. But I understand that knowing these examples doesn't necessarily make your struggle easier. It doesn't pay your bills or quiet that voice of doubt or erase the pain of feeling left behind. So let me give you something more practical, something you can use right now to shift your energy and your trajectory. First, you need to redefine what success means to you. Are you measuring success by money, by recognition, by comparison to others? Because if you are, you're setting yourself up for perpetual dissatisfaction. Success is not a destination. It's not something you achieve and then you're done. Success is the person you become in pursuit of your goals. It's the skills you develop, the resilience you build, the faith you cultivate. By that measure, you're already succeeding. Every day you don't give up is a success. Every time you show up despite your fear is a success. Every moment you choose to believe in yourself when no one else does is a success. Second, you need to understand the concept of the invisible harvest. When a farmer plants seeds, there's a long period when nothing seems to be happening. The ground looks exactly the same. It would be easy to assume the seeds are dead, that nothing's working, that all the effort was wasted. But beneath the surface, invisible to the eye, roots are growing. The foundation is being established. The plant is developing the structure it needs to eventually break through the soil and produce fruit. Your life works the same way. Just because you can't see results yet doesn't mean nothing is happening. Every action you take, every skill you develop, every person you help, every day you show up is creating roots. Those roots are spreading beneath the surface, getting stronger, preparing to support the harvest that's coming. But if you give up now, right before the breakthrough, you'll never get to see what was about to bloom. Third, you need to make peace with divine timing. This is perhaps the hardest thing to accept, but it's absolutely crucial. The universe doesn't operate on your timeline. It operates on a timeline that takes into account factors you can't see, connections that haven't been made yet, lessons you still need to learn, people you haven't met yet, opportunities that aren't ripe yet. Your success is tied to so many variables beyond your control. Getting frustrated about the timing is like getting mad at a flower for not blooming in winter. It will bloom when the conditions are right, and not a moment before. Your job isn't to control the timing. Your job is to keep nurturing the seed, to keep showing up, to keep doing the work, to keep maintaining your faith even when you can't see the evidence yet. Let me talk to you about money specifically, because I know that's often the most stressful part of feeling like you haven't succeeded yet. Financial pressure is real, and I'm not going to diminish that. But I need you to understand something about money. It's energy. It flows where there's value, where there's service, where there's confidence. If you're constantly stressed about money, constantly coming from a place of lack, constantly desperate, you're actually repelling it. I know that sounds counterintuitive. You'd think that needing money would attract it, but it doesn't work that way. Desperation creates desperation. Lack creates lack. You need to find a way to feel abundant, even when your bank account says otherwise. How do you do that? By focusing on what you do have rather than what you don't. By appreciating the money that does come in, even if it's less than you want. By giving, even when you feel like you can't afford to, because giving affirms abundance. By taking care of what you do have. By making wise decisions with whatever money you do receive. By trusting that more is coming. This energetic shift around money can literally change your financial reality. Now let's talk about relationships and love, because success isn't just professional. Maybe you feel like you should have found your person by now. Maybe you're watching friends get married, have children, build families while you're still alone. Maybe you've had your heart broken so many times that you're starting to wonder if real love even exists for you. Here's what you need to know. The right person at the wrong time is the wrong person. Every relationship that didn't work out was protecting you from something that wasn't meant for you. Every heartbreak was redirecting you towards something better. Every moment of being alone has been an opportunity to become more whole within yourself, so that when the right person comes, you're ready. You're not behind. You're not broken. You're not too old or too damaged or too anything. You're becoming. And when you've become the person you're meant to be, you'll attract the person who's meant for you. But you have to stop looking at being single as a problem that needs to be fixed and start seeing it as a chapter that's preparing you for the next one. Let's talk about your spiritual life too, because that's where your real strength comes from. If you feel like you should have succeeded by now, it probably means you've disconnected from your spiritual source. You've been so focused on the external results that you've forgotten about the internal foundation. Success without spiritual grounding is empty anyway. It's a house built on sand that will crumble at the first storm. This time, you're in right now, this waiting period, this season of struggle. It's an invitation to deepen your spiritual practice, to develop a relationship with something greater than yourself, to learn to hear that still, small voice of inner guidance, to build faith muscles that will serve you for the rest of your life. Meditate, pray, journal, spend time in nature. Get quiet enough to hear what the universe is trying to tell you. You're not just building a business or a career or a relationship. You're building a life, and a life needs a spiritual foundation. And let's address the piece that you've been missing. You can't feel peaceful when you're constantly measuring yourself against an arbitrary timeline, when you're comparing your chapter 3 to someone else's chapter 20, when you're living in the future instead of the present. Peace comes from acceptance. Not passive, defeated acceptance, but active, empowered acceptance of where you are right now. This is your life today. Not the life you wish you had, not the life you think you should have, but the life you actually have right now in this moment. Can you find something to appreciate about it? Can you find something to be grateful for? Can you be present with what is, instead of constantly reaching for what isn't yet? This doesn't mean you stop striving or stop working toward your goals. It means you stop making your peace conditional on achieving those goals. You find peace now in the journey, in the becoming, in the process. Here's something else I need you to understand. The reason you feel like you should have succeeded by now is because you're comparing yourself to a false narrative. Society feeds us this story that success should come quickly, easily, linearly. We see people's highlight reels on social media and think that's the full picture. We see overnight successes and don't realize they were 10 years in the making. We see people who seem to have it all and don't see the struggles they went through to get there, or the struggles they're still going through behind closed doors. You're comparing your internal reality, which includes all your doubts and fears and struggles, to other people's external appearances, which are carefully curated to look successful. That's not a fair comparison, and it's destroying your peace and your confidence. Let me tell you what's actually happening right now, even though you can't see it. Your breakthrough is closer than you think. I'm not saying that to give you false hope or to make you feel temporarily better. I'm saying it because it's true. The darkest hour really is just before the dawn. The hardest part of any journey really is right before the breakthrough. Think about it. When a baby is being born, the most intense, painful part is transition, which is the last phase before birth. When you're working out, the rep that creates the growth is the one that's hardest, the one where you want to quit. When you're climbing a mountain, the summit is often reached right after the point where most people give up. You're in transition right now. You're at that hard rep, you're near the summit. But if you give up now, you'll never know how close you were. Your breakthrough is being prepared right now. Connections are being made that you don't know about yet. Opportunities are being created that haven't reached you yet. People who will change your life are being moved into position. Seeds you planted years ago are about to sprout. Doors are about to open. The universe is orchestrating 1,000 different factors to bring you what you've been working toward. But it's not going to look the way you expect. It's not going to come from where you think. It's not going to happen on your timeline. It's going to be better than you imagined, bigger than you planned, more perfect than you could have designed yourself. But only if you're still standing when it arrives, only if you haven't given up, only if you've maintained your faith through the darkness. I want you to do something right now. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine yourself 5 years from now. Imagine that everything you've been working toward has come to fruition. You've achieved the success you've been chasing. You've become the person you've been trying to become. You're living the life you've been dreaming about. Now, from that future version of yourself, look back at this moment. Look back at yourself today, struggling, doubting, wanting to give up. What would that future version of you want to say to present you? I'll tell you what they'd say. Thank you for not giving up. Thank you for keeping going, even when it was hard. Thank you for believing in me, in us, even when you had no evidence that it would work out. Thank you for the sacrifices you made. Thank you for the faith you maintained. Thank you for doing the work, even when no one was watching. Everything we have now exists because you didn't quit. Please, please don't quit. You owe it to your future self to keep going. You owe it to the dream that won't leave you alone. You owe it to everyone who's going to be impacted by your success once it comes. You owe it to yourself to find out what's possible when you stop focusing on the timeline and start focusing on the work. When you stop measuring yourself against others and start measuring yourself against who you were yesterday. When you stop demanding immediate results and start trusting the process. Here's what I want you to do moving forward. First, recommit to your vision. Get clear on why you started this journey in the first place. Write it down. Look at it every day. Let it fuel you when you're tired. Second, focus on process over outcome. You can't control when success comes, but you can control what you do today. Make a list of the daily actions that move you toward your goal and do them regardless of how you feel or what results you're seeing. Third, celebrate small wins. You're so focused on the big success that you're missing all the little successes along the way. Every client you help, every skill you develop, every day you show up, that's worth celebrating. Fourth, surround yourself with people who believe in you. Distance yourself from people who drain your energy or make you doubt yourself. Find your tribe, your community, your champions. Fifth, take care of yourself. You can't pour from an empty cup. Get enough sleep. Eat well. Exercise. Do things that bring you joy. Your success matters, but not at the expense of your health and well-being. And finally, make this promise to yourself. I will not give up 5 minutes before the miracle. I will not quit right before the breakthrough. I will not abandon my dreams because the timing isn't what I expected. I will trust the process. I will maintain my faith. I will keep showing up. I will do the work. I will become the person I need to be to receive the success that's coming. I will remember that delay is not denial. I will remember that I am not behind. I will remember that my breakthrough is closer than I think. I will remember that it's coming, because it is coming. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, maybe not this month, but it's coming. Every person who's ever achieved anything significant has gone through exactly what you're going through right now. The doubt, the struggle, the wondering if they made a mistake, the wanting to give up. The only difference between people who succeed and people who don't is that successful people kept going. They didn't give up. They maintained their faith even when they had no logical reason to. They trusted the timing even when it frustrated them. They believed in themselves even when no one else did. You have everything you need inside you right now to succeed. You don't need more time, more resources, more connections, more anything external. You need to believe. You need to trust. You need to keep going, that's it. That's the secret. There is no magic formula, no hidden strategy, no secret knowledge. It's just faith plus action plus time equals breakthrough. You've been doing the action. You've been putting in the time. All that's being tested now is your faith. Are you going to keep believing even when you can't see the evidence? Are you going to keep trusting even when the timeline isn't what you wanted? Are you going to keep showing up even when you feel like giving up? I know you're tired. I know you're frustrated. I know you feel like you should be further along. But what if you're exactly where you need to be? What if this is all part of the story you'll tell one day when you've made it, the story that will inspire someone else who's going through exactly what you're going through right now? What if your struggle is actually your strength? What if your delay is actually your preparation? What if your timing is actually perfect? Don't give up. Not today. Not tomorrow. Not until you've seen what the universe has been preparing for you. Not until you've become who you're meant to become. Not until you've fulfilled the purpose you were put on this earth to fulfill. Your breakthrough is coming. I promise you, it's coming. You just have to be there to receive it. And if you want, tell me from which corner of the world you are watching this video. Your comment matters, and I want to read it and respond to you. For more exciting stories like this, click on the video that appears on your screen right now.